Hello and welcome to the Awaken Spirit YouTube channel. My name is Melanie Cherie. I'm a lifelong medium and spiritual teacher, and tonight I'm going to be teaching a class on how to speak with spirit just in time for the spooky season. So if you are somebody who is super interested in all of the esoteric, spiritual, strange, out there topics, psychic development, you're going to want to like and subscribe. And as always, you can find me on Instagram. This is my Instagram handle @_awakened.spirit. Tonight, you're going to be getting a little bit of a preview of what it's like to be in the Awakened Spirit classes. And the students tonight are going to be learning how to connect with their spirit guides, how to receive communication from the spirit world, and how to really know what's going on when they are connecting with spirit, and how to do it in a way where they're in charge. Because I think there's a lot of information out there around spirit and it kind of being this formless thing that kind of gets to come in or, communicate with you whenever it wants to. And as somebody who's a medium, I've had those experiences where I'm in the shower and I get a visit, or I'm trying to go to sleep and I get a visit from spirit. And I'm like, look, there's a time and a place. So tonight, the students are going to learn how to be in charge, how to be the boss with spirit, and how to connect when and where they want to. So again, if you're interested in this, you can like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. It helps out my channel. And maybe send this to somebody who is starting to open up in their intuitive abilities or have a spiritual awakening. The other thing I'd like to mention is that all of my offerings and services are going to be linked down below in the video description. You will see all of that information near the end of this video if you want to get connected or get a reading or get in for classes. So all that information is near the end. And as always, if you'd like to get connected, you can leave a comment, reach out to me via DM on Instagram, follow me, whatever you want. And I hope to see you around. Hello and welcome, awakened spirits, to class. It's so great to have you all here. I still have a few more people rolling in, and tonight's class is on communicating with spirit. And if you'd like, I would invite you to grab a journal or notebook, because one of the we're going to use, for me, I'm definitely a little ADHD. So if you're somebody who has a hard time remembering things like this, grab a notepad, because you're going to want to remember what the deal is. So yeah, I forget things. Susanna's laughing. I forget things. So in tonight's class, we're going to learn how to communicate with spirit. And before we get rolling into class and learn how to communicate with spirit, we have to have some level of amusement, because if we get into this vibration of seriousness or heaviness or having to do anything right or perfect or have something come through, that kind of like grip on needing something to come through in a specific way, we're not really going to get much. So number one advanced spiritual tool, find that level of lightness or amusement that makes things easy. It's something you can anchor into, and something where you just don't take yourself so seriously. So a lot of times I like to tell people, think of a meme, think of something that makes you laugh, that no matter what comes through or what you notice tonight, you can just go, huh, look at that. So we're going to get into the space of connecting. And the way I really like to do that first is to clear the space so that we can start to notice what we perceive. So we're going to do a quick little meditation. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath. Start to notice your body. Notice that you have arrived. You can gently close your eyes And from that space, I'd like you to just tune into your whole day. What was going on in your day? Was there a big, long to-do list? Was it chaotic? Was it stressful? Are you a newborn mom who's taking care of all of the things? Or rather, a mom with a newborn? What did your day consist of? I'd like you to take a moment to create a grounding cord, visualizing a line of energy that attaches at your hips. Send it all the way down to the center of the planet. And as you make that connection, I want you to give your body permission to release and let go of all of that energy from your day. Anything that you were trying to figure out or fix or solve, let all of that melt away down that grounding. Breathe. It's okay to let it go. If you still have to take care of it after class, it will probably still be there. You're just going to let it go for right now. And from that space where you're releasing and letting go of energy down that grounding, I'd like you to take a moment to find your energetic space. If you're familiar with the concept of an aura, it might look like a bubble around your body. About arm's length in all directions. You can kind of notice where your aura is sitting. This is really something we're going to work with today, that container for your energy. Because when we communicate with spirit, we need to have a clear energetic boundary, which I think in the spiritual community sometimes gets forgotten a little bit. So really notice that ecosystem, that habitat for your energy. I really like this metaphor. If your aura contains your energy like a fishbowl, what kind of water do you have in there today? Is it nice and crystal clear? Is it murky? Is there a lot of stuff floating around in there? As you notice that, you can allow all of that murky or funky water to drain down that grounding cord. Breathe. And from this space where you've really let go and cleared your own energy and owned your space with that aura, I'd like you to visualize a big golden sun above your head. In this golden sun, I'd like you to create all of the energy, all of the openness, playfulness for exploration of spirit, any amusement you might need, really calling your energy back from wherever it went today. Let that golden sun get really big and really bright. And when you're ready, you can bring that golden sun in through the top of your head, filling your entire body and aura with that gold. Notice how it feels to be in your own energy. It's kind of nice. When you're ready, you can stretch and move and come out of meditation. Great job. All right, so before we do any energy work ever or explore any topics, we really want to get connected to our body. We want to find and define our energetic space, and we want to have that level of amusement because in the world of spirit, there's such a full range of experience. And a lot of what we hear around this time of year, especially during Halloween, is, all of the kind of creepier side of spirit, right? Amanda said that some things were already happening and her boombox was making noises even though it's unplugged. That is not surprising. I've had quite a few, as you can imagine, of my own experiences. And the thing is, if you can be light and amused about any energy and any interaction with spirit, it doesn't have to get stuck. So as long as you have that level of lightness you can anchor into, there's nothing that can stick to you or get you stuck. This is just a little diagram of what we did. We found your aura. We got you nice and grounded and connected to the planet, connected to your body, and really owning that energetic space to connect with spirit. Tonight, we are going to learn how to connect and speak with spirit. And, we're all kind of maybe have an idea of what that looks like, society's idea of what speaking with spirit is. So there's a couple of different ways that we can communicate with spirit. And we're going to explore two ways tonight. We're going to explore assigning a sign or a symbol in order to receive communication. And we're going to work with direct contact, just to give you a preview. When we start to talk about signs and symbols from the universe, from our guides, from spirit, what we're really talking about is kind of three different categories, in my opinion. This is where your journal is going to come in handy. The first one is numbers. How many of you have been bombarded by repeating numbers? Emily's ready to jump through the Zoom call. For how many of you that this has happened to, are you like, wow, I don't know what that means? And also, it's starting to drive me crazy because all of a sudden I'm seeing 646 everywhere I go. Like, I even had a repeating number experience for months on end where I had a Chipotle order, and my Chipotle order total came out to 1234, which has never happened to me. I don't know if even putting a burrito on a Chipotle order comes out to that, but for the first time ever, it was 1234. And I was like, look, this has to stop. It's making me crazy. No, the point being that, we can definitely Google the meaning and find it that way, or we can assign a specific meaning to a number. So let's say we want to communicate with a specific person. All right, so we're going to get into some direct contact. before you go, oh no, we just talked about ghosts and now I'm leaving class. Before you make any direct contact or communicate with your guides or anything, we really have to have that level of amusement, because you cannot interact with the world of spirit and not have that level of amusement and expect to have a fun time. Because if you get into that seriousness, if you get into that Hollywood mentality around spirit, stuff just sticks and it can get a little funky. So find that level of lightness. Tonight, we're going to connect with one of your guides and we're going to connect with an angel. So nothing to worry about there. No Michael Myers. The second thing when we start to connect with spirit is we need to really manage our space. So remember when we started with finding that aura and finding our energetic boundary? Well, having that space and owning that space is really important when we're connecting with spirit, because just because spirit doesn't have a body doesn't mean spirit gets to invade your boundary. And what I really mean by that is when you see and own that energetic fishbowl, that bubble, that habitat for your energy, you get to be in charge. So we're going to do a practice and get more into that. And then third, being clear about who you wish to communicate with and when. And I'm just going to give you a quick story and read these comments. So when my grandmother passed and my grandfather passed, they would just show up. And I'm talking about, when I was trying to go to sleep, when I was sitting on the toilets, when I was driving my car, when I was in the middle of a reading session with somebody, in the middle of class, in a client session, they would just show up. And at some point I had to say, look, I know that it doesn't bother you that I'm sitting on the toilet, but hey, would you mind having this conversation with me when my pants are up? So you have to kind of set boundaries with them. And, I love my grandparents. They're hanging out tonight for class since I'm talking about them so much, but it's more that, we've kind of been given this image from Hollywood and in society that, they don't have a form, so they get to just come and go and do whatever they want and turn on your unplugged boombox and blah, blah, yada, yada, right? That's not necessarily true. So we're busting that myth. But if anybody else needs a little more amusement before we get into this, I have an amazing planter. And it's a butt. And I can't put anything in it because it's perfect just the way it is. But when I do plant something in it, there's like a hole in the bottom, so the rest of the liquid can escape in the right place. I just can't get over it. It's so cute. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, let's get into communicating with spirit. Before we get in, more importantly, what makes communication with spirit safe? I'm so glad I came back to my little slide here. So with all those kind of Hollywood pictures and experiences we have sometimes in spiritual spaces that feel ungrounded or overwhelming, or like there's just too much, or maybe it's like April was saying earlier this week, like a really echoey room. How do we make that safe? And the way that we make communication and connecting with spirit safe is you don't have to do anything with the information that comes through. So as an example, I was working with a client a couple months back who was, kind of really delving into some channeling and some other things and hadn't really had any like real training around that. And she got kind of disconnected. She got pulled into spirit and a little less connected from her body. And so she was really involved with this idea around the paparazzi and what they're doing to celebrities and how these celebrities are coming together to create this big world shift. And, I had to say to her, look, I know that came through for you from spirit, but you don't have to immediately move to Hollywood to go assist these people. Just because it came through from spirit doesn't mean you have to take that information and change your life or your path because of it. It was a little unhinged, but we got her back in her body, and then we had a good laugh about it. So, you might have heard about people receiving messages from spirit and all of a sudden, oh, I got this divine guidance from my guide and they told me to move to Montreal. And so I dropped my job, I quit, and packed everything up and I moved to Montreal. Now I don't know what I'm doing. So things can come through, but you don't have to do anything with that information. In fact, as somebody who's, kind of in both worlds over here, is a good way to put it. I don't really act on anything unless it comes through for me several times and I feel aligned with it. Number 2, you deciding to be in charge of your energy. You deciding that you own that aura, you own your space. We're going to practice this. And that spirit doesn't have a free reign. It's essentially what I'm getting at here. So let's connect, let's practice, let's play. Who's excited? Drop the planter link. It was a custom made print from a woman who does plant swaps here in the Denver area. And she's actually really a pain in the butt to get a hold of, Valerie. So if you really want one, I can try to wrangle her at one of these plant swaps. They come in all sorts of different colors. And there's a boobs one. I'll grab it at the end of class so you can see the whole set. All right. Well, let's jump in and connect. So this can absolutely apply to if you have an experience that's a little bit funky. We're going into spooky season. If you have any kind of spiritual spooky experience, if you notice something you don't like, if you notice something that's weird, you can either ask Source, your higher self, Great Spirit, Goddess, to beam them out of there, or you can call on any archangel you'd like. And also I'd like you to know that anytime you're going through something, or you're just in it, or life is just putting you through the ringer, you can call on your guide, your angels. You can call on whoever you need to. You have that support. I think that's one of the most important and kind of integral pieces of communicating with spirit is, we're here and they're kind of here, not physically, but they're a lot of times there to kind of assist. I have to figure out what's going on in this chat. It's starting to stress me out. There's so many new messages. Oh, you got a do not disturb sign. I love that. Mine has a cowboy hat too. My partner has a cowboy hat in the closet. That's his dad's cowboy hat. This is starting to be weird. Can you say the sentences you just said when we were meeting the space to invite the guides in? I want to have the verbiage to be the boss. Yeah, absolutely. And it will be on the recording. But the verbiage. Go back in my notes. This is why I take these. All right. You can ask to see one spirit guide or have one guide step forward. If more than one tries to shove their way down that golden beam of light, all of them are out. You are in charge. Have that amusement while you are the dictator. You're like the laughing Buddha of North Korea. If that makes sense. You're a dichotomy. You're a spirit and a body. You're in charge. Let them know if you don't want to work with them and fire their ass. I don't know why when you told us to establish when and where I got so confused and was like, I don't know, I guess here and right now. Yes, what I mean by that is you call them in. They don't get to just show up when you're on the toilet. They don't get to just show up when you're hooking up with a hottie. They don't get to just show up when you're in the middle of a meeting and be like, hey, by the way, it's distracting. That was what I meant by when and where. Like if you have a really important message that needs to come through, maybe they don't need to come and stand right in front of you and try to convey that while you're driving. For me, that's very, very much so kind of what I mean by that. That has happened for me. So I want to wrap up class. I want to let you guys know I'm doing some professional tarot readings for the series I just completed with the last 2 classes, which was psychic tarot. And if you'd like to get hooked up with a psychic tarot reading, you can for $55. I hate promoting myself. It's the worst. Please feel free to reach out to me via email or DM. If you are looking for my contact information and you don't already know how to get in touch with me, my Instagram is @_awaken.spirit. Feel free to DM me anytime. My 2 websites. Top one is my personal website with my services that are one-to-one, and Awakening Sanctuary, which is the Women's Intuitive Training Program. And here is my email if you need it. The Awaken Spirit class schedule. You are in the Awaken Spirit class tonight. So what's coming up is November 1st through the 15th. We're going to be going into the pillars of happiness and how to find your joy. The 22nd and the 29th are going to be a series on surviving the holidays, navigating the holidays for highly sensitive souls. We are hosting a group healing clinic this Friday. It's going to be a channeled healing on, and we do those on the 2nd and 4th Fridays of every month. It's at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Your first one's free to check out. Awakening Sanctuary Women's Psychic Development Program, which the majority of the people in here are enrolled. Our Foundations course is now open, and Foundations includes 6 weeks of training to learn how to own your energy, begin to connect with spirit, begin to open up to all of your clairvoyant abilities, really taking you from empath to empowered energy worker. In this whole Foundations package, you'll be able to access those intuitive development classes, Olivia's breathwork classes, the Awakened Spirit classes, which are what you're in right now, as well as Healing Clinic, which are the 2nd and 4th Fridays. If you're interested in that, please feel free to reach out to get enrolled. We're also doing a class pass package. If you're not interested in jumping in for psychic training right now, if you'd like to just get in for breathwork and these classes, as well as the healing clinics, you can get the class pass package at a $60 discount for all of those. So if you're interested, you can reach out. If you'd like to support my classes or my scholarships for enrollment for the intuitive development, you can by Venmoing me. This is my info. Whoever was so kind as to send me those messages. And that is all I have for you tonight. Let me just double back on my what is this, the chat? At this point in time, I'm always like, oh, in their spare time, do we know what angels do? They do other stuff too? They probably have some pretty solid hobbies, Carolina. I usually see them holding space for world events, and kind of helping to get things grounded when stuff gets a little crazy. Erna says they're allowed to come anytime, but it's only at my house or my parents because they live there. Also, it helps to keep things clear and not so confusing because my ass apparently is wonderful at overthinking. Okay, we all have to have one special skill. I'm a excellent overthinker as well. Thank you for your time and space. Oh, you're so welcome, Amanda. Thank you so much for being here. It was so great seeing all of you. And for everybody that popped in that this is their first class, you also get a second class for free if you'd like to come back for another one. So please feel free to reach out to me if you want to pop in. I like to give everybody 2 of these classes so they can check it out and see what it's like and see if it's for you. You're so welcome, April. Thank you for being here. It was lovely seeing you. I did get your message. Today has been insane. In regards to great horned owls. Oh, that makes sense now, Meredith. Thank you for letting me join. You're so welcome, Eliana. Thank you, Amanda. I hope you're feeling better, Amanda. I don't know about anyone else, but really needed this today. Hey, I looked at the space and I was like, let me hook you up because we were just going to connect with a guide. And I was like, nah, we're going to get a little extra tonight. A little extra. Everybody needed a nice little release. And I saw a few people who had some emotional release, and that sometimes is so healing as well. So if you connected and you had an emotional response, you got a healing. There was something there that was ready to be moved. And I like to say that emotions are energy in motion. And I didn't really understand what that meant until I started doing psychic energy work. It's really that our emotions move energy for us. So if you decide to just have a good cry, scream it out, punch a pillow, at the other side of that, I encourage lots of people to do this. These students will tell you, I tell them all the time, whatever you have to do, let it move through you because you're going to feel so amazing on the other side. Don't fight it. Don't push it down because then it just builds and then you get stuck. And then you usually end up in front of me for a session and you're like, so I have this thing going on. I'm like, yes. And then they come in and they're like, and then I feel things. Like, yes, feel your feelings. Lots and lots of comments. Needed this also. The healing was much needed. You're so welcome, Val. Lost my voice this week screaming in pillows and in my car. Yes, Amanda. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. No throwing computers. Wouldn't advise. Well, thank you all so much again. It was so great seeing you all. I hope you all have a fantastic night. Val, if you're still here, I did get your email and I will respond to you right after class. And it was so nice seeing all of these new faces here. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.